Live from our studios at One Television Plaza, this is WTAP News at 10 on Fox Parkersburg.
Republican Governor Jim Justice has signed into law a ban on abortions at all stages of pregnancy. The ban has exceptions for medical emergencies and for rape and incest victims up to a certain time frame. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Phyllis Smith. West Virginia Governor Jim Justice signed a near total abortion ban into law today. Our Laura Bowen talked with a senator who voted in favor of the legislation and a Planned Parenthood official about the ban's deeper implications.
House Bill 302's passage marks a major shift in West Virginia abortion law. Since July, elective abortions have been legal up to 20 weeks. Now abortions at any stage of pregnancy, with few exceptions, are banned.
It is despicable that our lawmakers are negotiating over a person's fundamental human right.
Life begins at conception, and that's where God creates life, and that we're going to protect it from that point forward.
Senator Mike Azinger is happy the bill passed, but doesn't think it goes far enough.
I believe that a baby can't help how it was conceived, and a baby that was conceived in rape or incest should be protected also.
Under the adjusted bill, incest and sexual assault are exceptions. However, for adults, the incest and sexual assault exception only exists if the abortion happens within the first 8 weeks of pregnancy. For minors, that time frame is stretched to 14 weeks. It also must be reported to law enforcement. Other exceptions include non-viable fetuses and embryos, ectopic pregnancies, and medical emergencies.
The exceptions in this bill are so limited, they're so tightly restricted, that they're going to effectively be unavailable to the patients who are going to need them.
The legislation also makes performing an abortion without a medical license or at an unapproved location a crime. Doctors who violate the law may lose their license but will not be charged criminally. People receiving abortions will not face penalties.
And I think the ultimate thing that people need to understand about this bill is the cruelty of it. That they are putting people, their constituents, in very difficult situations.
I think that whenever you protect a baby in the womb, that's the antithesis of cruel. That is protecting a baby who's defenseless and innocent.
Azinger believes the legislation will stop almost all abortions in the state.
I think that, in effect, it will close the abortion clinic down in Charleston, and West Virginia will be, in essence, an abortion-free state.
The lone abortion provider in the state is still open but is no longer providing abortions. Planned Parenthood South Atlantic's Director of Public Affairs, Elisa Clements, worries about the burden this puts on people seeking abortions, even if they can travel out of state.
You could be seeing patients travel hours and hours from home, spending more money to get to those states, trying to find childcare, trying to find places to stay because you have to wait to get your procedure.
Clements worries even accessing abortions in other states could prove to be a challenge. She points out that they're going to be dealing with an influx of patients from states with strict abortion laws. Laura Bowen, WTAP News.
For more information on the ban, you can go to our web channel, WTAP.com. Let's check in with meteorologist Kirk Greenfield with your first look at tonight's forecast. Kirk?
Well, we're looking at a quiet night in the Mid-Ohio Valley. The relative humidity is up, so it feels a little humid. We're at 65 degrees most recently on the Highmark, West Virginia Skycam. The winds are calm. The barometer 30.20 inches and somewhat steady. It's not a bad recipe for some patchy fog tonight. We expect by midnight to be about 62 degrees. It looks like as we go through the overnight, we'll drop down to about 57 with mostly clear conditions, but that fog is going to re-exert itself just as it has every morning so far this week. We'll take a look at the weekend when I return. Back to you.
Thank you, Kirk. A Maryland company says it will build a natural gas power plant designed to capture climate-changing carbon in West Virginia. Officials say it was made possible by a recently signed law embraced by Democratic Senator Joe Manchin that gives tax breaks for alternative energy projects. Competitive Power Ventures of Silver Spring, Maryland, will construct the 1,800 megawatt combined cycle plant. Manchin and Company CEO Gary Lambert announced the project at a news conference Friday. Lambert says the company is looking at several locations and hopes to select one later this year. More than 1,000 union jobs will be used during construction. The plant is expected to start operations later this decade. A Parkersburg man charged with murder and a man who was shot by police following a standoff in Waverly were among the 92 people indicted by the Wood County grand jury. Derek Burton Taylor was indicted on one count of murder. Taylor is charged in connection with the death of Corey Friend. According to the criminal complaints, Taylor attacked Friend on March 21st on Covert Street. Friend died a few days later after being taken to a hospital in Morgantown with a broken nose, facial fractures, and multiple brain bleeds. Franklin James Phillips was indicted on one count of making terroristic threats, obstructing an officer, and 5 counts of assault on a law enforcement officer. Phillips was arrested in June following a standoff with law enforcement in Waverly. Police say Phillips was shot at the end of that standoff. A man accused of murder back in May 2021 was back in court today. Victor Lee Thompson's lawyer, Morgan Leach, asked Judge Jason Wharton for a co-counsel to be added to his team to help with the workload. Judge Wharton agreed to the request under the condition that Leach did not get to pick his co-counsel. Leach withdrew his request because of this and instead is going with a pro bono lawyer of his choosing. Thompson is accused of murdering Darren Salem last year. His trial is set to begin on October 2nd. Phase 1 of the park project has started in Marietta and will last until December. The construction for the project will be on the 300 and 400 block of Front Street. New lighting will be added along with street and sidewalk work will be there to be improved at the end of December. This construction project is in the beginning stages for a new and improved entrance for Muskingum Park.
The street will be an entranceway into the new park. So what we're hoping in the future will be a national standard park built to all the national standards, which is a huge undertaking. It's going to be about a $7 million project when it's all said and done. Focus is going to be on the Start Westward monument that's there.
Phase 2 of the project will begin in 2023, but the city is unsure of the timing for the next phase. Still ahead, we talked to a man whose dream has always been to open a bakery, and he did not let having a stroke stop him. Plus, a family from Princeton is on their way to New York City to help promote the value, inclusion, and acceptance of people with Down syndrome. That story is next at 10.